Okay, April, thank you so much for doing this with me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So what we're going to do is we're going to go over some of the work that we saw in class
Okay.
and some of the data from the test,
Mhm.
and kind of talk about some strengths, some ways that we can improve it, and try to anchor some things to do a good job. So thank you so much for helping me with
You're
this.
welcome.
Okay, so first off, the standard I'm going to focus on today was 7.6, which was understand and make inferences
Okay.
and draw conclusions about the structure and elements of fiction and provide evidence from the text to support their understanding. That's what we're going to kind of focus on today. And we're going to specifically talk about some ways we can do that. So the work that we looked at, you had them do a plot chart.
Mhm.
So what was this for?
The plot diagram was for them to analyze the book that we read, which was The Outsiders.
Right.
And after we've gone through each component of the plot diagram, beginning with conflict, point of view, the exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, they were to identify those components from what they have read.
And then I like this assignment. I don't know if you did it with the Outsiders, and it looked like this really helped them with a standard we're going to talk about in a second. But I noticed that when they were working on it, so a lot of the students thought that the climax of the story was when Johnny kills Bob.
Mhm.
And you saw kind of some more detail here. He killed Bob
Mhm.
and tells why.
Mhm.
This student said the climax was everyone wasn't getting along and caused a problem.
Mhm.
So it seemed like what their misunderstanding was maybe they were trying to find the conflict in the story.
Right.
So they kind of misunderstood the climax. But,
Yeah, some students did misinterpret the climax for the conflict.
Mhm.
They had an area where they were to identify the conflicts as well, which they did in some cases. But this particular student wasn't quite able to match that up.
And that leads me to, so what I see from this and the strength from the class of what they're able to identify plot, figure out where it's going.
Mhm.
So that kind of leads us to the strength that I saw was on the test. If you look at your scores, did a really excellent job with 7.6, which is part of what we're going to talk about,
Mhm.
and with 7.8. So what they're really strong at, in my opinion, is from the test, it looks like they're able to figure out what's happening in the story
Mhm.
and kind of why it's happening.
Right.
And they're able to figure out like what part of the story it is. So as far as like comprehension and keeping
Drawing
track of like,
conclusions.
yes, the story's rising here, it's getting tense,
Mhm.
they're good at that. Also, they did really well, 85% on 7.8. 85% they were able to figure out sensory details in a
Excuse me,
passage.
students, please pause for these announcements. We are about to do our trial
So,
run,
I don't know if we
and at this time, I'm gonna make a few announcements and pointers about what
So,
we're doing, so everybody
the other
has the
thing-
information they need. Eighth
She'll
grade
understand.
students, because you are not
I'll just
testing
stop it for
on
now.
Monday with the
Okay.
exception